Awesome. Hello, everybody. Happy Friday. It is a beautiful day here up in New England in Connecticut. I hope that all of you are enjoying this wonderful summer. It's been actually a little bit hot. Oh, wow. Okay. Got a little bit of a, would you call it a wardrobe malfunction at that point? It's been a little bit humid, but to me, I absolutely love summer. And with that, usually this is in January where we start hearing the buzzword about diets, but I mean, that's really all year round. And this is something it's been in my radar for a very long time, but it just was brought up again this week. And what I try to do is I try to align things with some of the things that have been very relevant to what's been in my practice for the week, what's been in my personal journey for the week too. So I thought that this was a very important topic to talk about. One of my goals when I'm working with you is to help you to break the confusion around all the diet cultures and trying to figure out what works best for you and best for your body so that you're thriving emotionally and physically. And that's exactly what I put in the caption. So, well, that's part of what I do. So, with that, what I'm going to be talking about today is how diet misinformation can actually harm you and how you can start to trend in a healthier direction that will be very satisfying to you, not only physically, but emotionally, so that you are thriving. All right, so with that, I'm just going to introduce myself. Hello, my name is Drew Mulvey. I am the Vitality Specialist. I think I pretty much went into what I do. That's part of what I do, helping you to create sustainable changes, helping you to understand yourself from a cellular and a biological level. And I really help you to identify the pain that's within so that we can start to nullify it and that you can start to really gain your quality of life back. So if that sounds like you, if you feel like you've had confusion, you haven't really been able to have sustainable habits, you want a foundation, you want to get to the root of the pain, that could be emotional, that could be physical, that could be mental, whatever it is. I take into account all of these different aspects and that I try to see the individual as who they are, build upon that, and that they start to thrive. Now, if you've been feeling stuck, I would absolutely love to speak with you. I do have a free 1 hour strategy session. So that's going to be in the comments for those that are on Facebook, and then it's going to be in my bio, the link for that. That sounds like you. Maybe you have a couple questions for me. Maybe you're going to have a couple questions for me after this particular talk today. Please feel free to book an appointment with me and let's get you in. Let's get you thriving again. Let's get you feeling your best again. Okay, so let's talk about diet misinformation. So, interestingly enough, I was just reading something about clinicians being very concerned about misinformation in the diet culture, especially now because we are so much of a social media driven culture. I mean, I feel very blessed. I am a millennial and I didn't have the internet until I was 13. So yeah, I didn't have the internet until I was 13. I didn't get a phone until I was 16. I didn't have social media until the end of my senior year in high school. So that's when we had MySpace. So we still had that time where we weren't influenced by this influx of information that was coming at us. Yes, there was still the internet that was a very viable source, and it can be a very viable source, but now there's just so many things that are influencing us. And are there good things? Are there bad things? Well, a lot of practitioners are actually extremely worried about this. So listen to this. A recent global survey of over 1,000 physicians revealed that 90% are worried about fad diets and social media driven information, with most admitting inadequate nutrition training in medical school. So that is actually a thing that doctors are only schooled, but trained in nutrition for 6 hours. Yes, they know about certain nutrition plans, they know about certain diets. So the low FODMAP diet, or this diet, or that diet. It's a diet. That's the thing. So with that, when is it healthy and when is it not working for you? So let's talk about what's going on in social media right now and some of the fad diets that are out there. Or I should say diets. There is paleo. So paleo is the idea that we're going back to our ancestral heritage and eating that way. So we take out grains, we take out beans, we take out grains, beans, dairy, and gluten in particular. So grains, no, grains, beans, dairy. I'm missing something else. There's four of them that you take out. But the idea behind that is that it helps with decreasing inflammation in your body and taking out those inflammatory foods, so that there has been evidence that this has reduced pain. This has been better for gut health. This has been better for brain health. This actually has been significant for cardiovascular health too. But other nutrition plans have also been beneficial for cardiovascular health, lowering LDL levels, bettering your overall health, and that is also known as the Mediterranean diet. So the Mediterranean diet, that has grains, that has beans, that's actually more, how do I want to say this? It's less meat. It's less meat. So more grain, more bean heavy, fish, olive oil. So there are components of both of them that are very anti-inflammatory. And then there is the infamous carnivore diet. So the carnivore diet is the idea that you're not getting any of those plant-based, I shouldn't say toxins, but things that are working against you. So there's yes, there are certain compounds in certain foods that if you are having issues, then yes, they might be causing some issues in your body, especially if you are a very therapeutic case and you've got a lot of things that you're trying to deal with and a lot of significant pain and chronic issues. That is very different. There is also the ketogenic diet, which is, it basically is saying that carbs are inflammatory and it's trying to regulate your blood sugar so that it's decreasing that inflammation. Your body is responding. Sorry, your body is running more on fats instead of carbohydrates. And this is supposed to be better for your brain health. It's supposed to be better for overall, gosh, they've even recommended this for endurance athletes, which, oh gosh, personally, I'm not a big fan of that. There's ways that you can get around that, but I'm just personally not a big fan of that. And then ketogenic diets have been used in epilepsy, as the sugars can tend to trigger epileptic episodes. So that's where the ketogenic diet comes in, and that's where that therapeutic approach comes in. A carnivore diet is very much like a ketogenic diet, and you're also taking out things that you probably could have been sensitive to, but you didn't have to go that far. But that's the thing, is I'm going to get to that. I think I just went ahead of myself. Anywho, those are some, what else is there? Somebody told me, oh my gosh, one of my clients, I was speaking to them, there's something new on TikTok. I don't know, there's a lot of different things out there. So what is this doing to people? This has come up more than once over the past month, and we mean to do what is right for our body. We want to do what is right for our body, but there is so much influx of information that it has sincerely overwhelmed them. And what can that cause? That can cause you to miss out on life because you are taking things out of your nutrition plan and that you're not being honest with yourself about what things you actually do like and what things you don't like. I mean, this is really important. If you want to make healthy changes and changes into your nutrition plan, you can do it at a level where you can meet yourself. All right, but what can happen with all of these different protocols, with all of these different diets? You miss out on life. You may not be getting enough nutrients. So if you're bypassing major food groups, you might not be able to get the nutrients from those particular food groups, and then that could deplete you further. You could also be losing a lot of weight, and this could also create a lot of fears around food. So if you're fearing food and then you're losing weight, then you're terrified to even incorporate this back in because this person is saying this and this person is saying that. This is where it really starts to harm you and it starts to affect your emotional health. I have seen this myself. Actually, I've walked through it myself. There is something called an obsession with healthy eating. It is called orthorexia, and you will not go outside of the realms of really healthy eating. And what that does, it creates so much fear around food, so much guilt, so much shame, so much condemnation, which I don't even like those four words at all whatsoever. And when that starts to affect your emotional health, you think that you're being healthy, but that those thought processes actually make your body more inflamed. And what that's going to do, it is going to decrease your stomach acid. So you are not digesting things properly. When you're not digesting things properly, you're not assimilating the nutrients properly. So you're not able to recover and you're not able to get important nutrients, vitamins, and minerals for you to be able to thrive and to be able to live the life that you want to live. You will also probably start having food sensitivities. You'll wear your adrenals out because your cortisol is so elevated. Then the cortisol can start eating away at your muscles. It can start eating away at, I shouldn't say it this way. Okay, I'm not trying to scare anybody, but cortisol can have an effect on your brain, can have an effect on your insulin sensitivity and the way that you regulate blood sugar. So, really, does that sound like something that is really going to be the best for you when it puts you in that sort of a state? Well, I don't think so. Personally, I do not think so. And even in the years that I have practiced, I have learned a lot with this being in functional medicine. We want to be able to help you. From my background, I have been I think some of you know this, some of you don't, that I was diagnosed with two autoimmune conditions when I was 20 years old. I had adrenal dysfunction, so I wasn't even producing cortisol anymore. I had a candida buildup at that time too. My hormones were all out of whack. I mean, like this was at 20 years old. So in that case, yes, I did have to go undergo a certain nutrition plan that did help me, but it was temporary. I was also undergoing other things. But because of that, I found alternative care was the thing that helped me and that functional medicine can be very helpful. The therapeutic nutrition plans, the nutrients, the lifestyle, all of those different things, and even the testing that can go farther. Oh my gosh. Just to finally give you a snapshot of what the heck is going on, and there are some answers to your chronic pain. That is great. But I've also seen the flip side too, where it gets so specific, so overwhelming, and so restrictive that A, it makes the person not want to do it. B, I think I cried once. I did. There was something that I did that I did not think that it was necessary, and it was working against me. So does that mean that, okay, so functional medicine, yes, it does have its place, but going overboard like that, the healthiness can actually start to harm the individual, where later on you start fearing all these foods. You start fearing about this and fearing about that. So there was something very monumental that I have personally learned and that I have listened to in webinars is when it comes to functional medicine, especially when it comes to disordered eating, which I really believe that there is a lot of undiagnosed and I think undiagnosed is probably the right word, disordered eating patterns in several people that they don't think that it's really anything, and so they don't really talk about it with their doctor or with their practitioner. So with that in mind, you have to take everything with a grain of salt. And what I found, well, in this webinar is there's the emotional component and then there's the therapeutic component. And you have to kind of find the happy medium. Like, what can we do to start moving in the right direction? And you also have to, okay, also, I'm an athlete, so I can be like all in. If you tell me something, like, I can go full fledged into it and get laser focused. But I've also started to notice that I'm changing too, and having those little things here and there. I used to freak out if I went off plan. I used to freak out. And yes, in certain cases, there's certain things that you don't want to incorporate in that could create a little bit more inflammation. But again, that's something different. And I also talk about mindsets. I walk you through this if that be the case. But functional medicine can actually fail people in the way that it creates things that are so restrictive, so strict, and then it starts to wear on their emotional health. And I don't feel like that is necessary. I don't think that you have to walk through that unless you are educated. My goal is to educate you. So, with that in mind, what are some of the things that you can start to do if you really want to start changing your eating habits? You want to start changing your, but it still remain emotionally healthy and mentally healthy. Well, here are some easy things. July, there is so much good produce this month. I was just saying to somebody the other day, I walk into the farmer's market and I feel like I'm a kid in the candy store. I'm like, ooh, I want to try that. Ooh, I want to try that. And the best thing is that you're supporting your local farmers too, which is so important. So some of the local produce, or I should say, there's seasonal produce. There's watermelon, beets, cucumbers, blueberries, salmon, avocado, mint, and spinach. So I was thinking, why not go to the farmer's market, maybe pick up some of these things and create new recipes using some of the seasonal produce. Now, what's the benefit of the seasonal produce? I've talked about this a little bit, that they are at their nutritional peak. So the antioxidants, the beneficial nutrients, the vitamins and minerals that they have in them are at their peak, and that's going to be delivered right to your body. So if you're going to the farmer's market, there's a lot of seasonal produce there. Going home and making something delicious. I was thinking when I looked at all of these foods in particular, I'm thinking about a cucumber, beet, watermelon salad over spinach with some blueberries, maybe a blueberry vinaigrette. And I actually wrote down blueberry vinaigrette. And then having a little feta if you are able to have dairy. And there can be some fun ways that you can incorporate these into your nutrition plan. I mean, oh my gosh, watermelon is amazing. Plus, all of these have distinctive properties that are very beneficial for you. So watermelon is a source of L-citrulline, which helps with dilation of the blood vessels. It's actually, I'm going to beets too. Beets also have compounds in there that can help to produce nitric oxide that actually dilates the blood vessels and helps those nutrients to flow much more effectively to the organs and to the joints, to the muscles that it needs to go in. There's cucumbers, which is very it's water heavy. So it's, I don't want to say it's a diuretic, but it's going to hydrate you a lot, especially right now. It being so hot out, I highly recommend incorporating like some cucumber and maybe some mint in some water to hydrate you a little bit more, maybe like a little bit of sea salt. Blueberries have amazing antioxidants in them. They have a little bit of fiber in them. Plus, they taste great in blueberry muffins. You can make blueberry oat muffins. Oh my gosh, I think I'm gonna do that. Some blueberry oat muffins. So the oatmeal is, you grind it up and it acts as like the flour. You mix it with some eggs. You mix it. I sweeten things with bananas sometimes, or you could do some maple syrup, something like that. Avocado, it's ice cream season. So I haven't tried this yet. You can freeze some avocado and banana in the freezer, and then you can create an ice cream with that. So you put like, I would put like cacao or cocoa, sorry, vanilla in there, maybe like a little bit of sea salt, just because I really like chocolate sea salt. And then you can, actually the bananas are pretty much going to sweeten it, but you can also have like a chocolate mousse that way too. So you're getting the sweetness, you're getting the nutrients, you're also having emotionally satisfying dishes that are, it's giving you the nutrients so that it will help with your mental health and help to enhance your mental health. But oh my gosh, I've made some chocolate mousse before with avocados that I literally just, oh, it was so amazing. I think I almost cried one time. It was so good. Okay, so there's that. And also going to the farmer's market, one of the challenges that I have a 21-day program. And one of the challenges in it was to see how many different plant-based foods you were getting in each week. Why is that important? Because you're getting compounds from each of these different foods and it's feeding different bacteria in your gut. You have a bunch of different strains in your gut. So you talk about probiotics, but there are several different strains. And several different strains, I shouldn't say several different strains, there's certain strains that are responsible for producing digestive enzymes. Some of them produce serotonin, which is your feel-good neurotransmitter. Some of them actually produce folate, which is a particular B vitamin. It's B9 that is important for something called methylation, which helps to protect your genes and helps to protect your protein so they come out healthy. You have other but probiotics. I think I covered like the main things too. Oh yeah, you have other probiotics which really help. They create compounds that help to keep your intestines intact so that you're not having these food sensitivities. So by incorporating a variety of all of these different foods, you're helping to feed different genera and different strains of probiotics. So your immune function is going to be better, your digestive system is going to be better, you're going to be assimilating nutrients a heck of a lot better, and I think you're going to be happier overall. So that can be one of the aims if you want to start trending towards something that is healthier and finding your unique nutrition plan. Challenge yourself. See how many different plant-based foods that you're having in a week. I thought that was so much fun. And trying some new things that you haven't tried before. I mean, if you're an adventurer, this is one of the most fun things that you can do. And it's like a little project too. So you can actually download this online, is the list of fruits, vegetables, grains, beans, meats, and then at the end of the week, kind of do a synopsis of how many different foods that you had in that week, how many plant-based foods. I actually got up to 50 one week, which was really exciting, and I tried some different things. Plus, trying some different foods, it's going to be beneficial for your system because it's not being exposed to the same proteins over and over and over again, which later on may lead to food sensitivities. So, yeah, we got that. Starting out with some seasonal produce and then getting at least 30 different plant-based foods in per week. Have that as your little challenge. But as I was alluding to before, you can also make some swaps for some of the things that are very emotionally satisfying. I was just talking about the chocolate avocado mousse, and I was talking about the banana avocado chocolate ice cream, which I really want to try. I'm thinking about like a cucumber watermelon. Okay, cucumber watermelon salad with some feta and some onions in there. That's also another one that's really delicious too. But when you have these delicious swaps, you can also allow room for those treats too. I mean, there's an emotional component when you have ice cream with your family or you have like this nice little treat for you. It's completely fine to have that. That's in a very healthy, balanced nutrition plan. Now, if you have any known food sensitivities and allergies, please act in wisdom. If you have a gluten issue, don't go out and have a bunch of cookies. That's counterproductive. Now, can you allow yourself some room for like a gluten-free cookie? Yeah, of course you can. Can you allow some room for like a little bit of a gluten-free cake when you're at a picnic? Yeah. But you can start to build an awareness of what types of foods that you're incorporating, how you feel, how it's emotionally satisfying you, and how your body's responding to. This is something key that I actually tell my clients is go have the food and let your body speak for you. Don't start pre-planning or oh my gosh, what's the word? Catastrophizing? Yes, catastrophizing. That's the word, because then that's going to create that fear and that your body's going to react out of fear. So you're not going to even know if you're sensitive to that food or not. And allow yourself to just enjoy. If your body speaks to you, okay, then just stay away from that thing. It's as easy as that. So these were some very, very basic things. So having some swaps for some of the emotionally satisfying foods that are in your life. Try to aim for at least 30 different, it's not just fruits and vegetables, but plant-based foods each week. And then incorporating some of the seasonal produce because they're at their nutritional peak, and getting those nutrients into your body. It's going to help your mind. It's going to help you to recover better. For you athletes, it's going to help you to recover a heck of a lot better. And it's also going to help your performance because you're getting what you need to be able to thrive. There's a lot of misinformation. I just went into some diets before. I know somebody just joined. There are bits and pieces that you can take from each and every one of them and start composing something that is very unique to you. That's what I try to do, is make something individualized where you are thriving. Your body is literally getting the nutrients that it needs. It's starting to heal. And then you're also starting to emotionally heal and mentally heal in the process too. It's beautiful. So I hope that really helped you with kind of identifying all this misinformation, I would highly recommend working under a licensed professional and somebody that is more well versed in this to guide you along the way to break all this misinformation, to just help you to get back to yourself and then build a plan that's going to help you to thrive. And if that sounds like you, if you feel like you've been hearing this on TikTok or you've been hearing this in the news or that in the news, and you've been trying to find this diet or that diet, then I've been there before. I shared before, I've had disordered eating patterns in the past, and I really feel like I've had a lot more freedom incorporating these things into my nutrition plan and having that more balanced plan. So, if that sounds like you, it's not even just nutrition, it's also the nutrition that you're feeding your mind to. I talked about that. And not analyzing, but assessing your thoughts around things because your thoughts can be very pro inflammatory instead of shame, guilt, fear, grace, compassion, loving words. That's not easy for some of us, but sometimes we have to force it. But at least we're bringing our body into a calm state. And that's allowing the foods to actually be absorbed properly and for our body to get the right nutrients. So again, if you feel like there's just been a lot of misinformation, you've had, maybe you're in chronic pain, maybe you're not recovering well, maybe you've been diagnosed with an autoimmune condition, maybe you just feel like you're starting to kind of disconnect from other people and disconnect from things that you really used to love doing. That's some red flags, and I would highly recommend. I do have a free 1 hour strategy session. I would absolutely love to speak with you before it starts going more south. Let's improve the trajectory of that and get you on a firm foundation built on who you are and where you want to be and meeting you where you're at. All right, everybody. Well, if you have any questions for me, please feel free to DM me on any of this information. Again, I really hope that this was helpful. This has come up, gosh, this has actually come up a few times this week, and I really wanted to dispense that information to you so that you feel at ease. And please do share it throughout the week if you start doing any of these challenges, how many different foods that you incorporated this week. What are some of your favorite seasonal produce that you're getting at the farmer's market? Or what are some of the treats that you're incorporating in for that emotional enjoyment? Or some of the swaps, like the healthy swaps, say if you can't have gluten or dairy, or maybe like beans and grains are starting to bother you. I would love to hear about the healthy swaps. I am all about recipes. So please be sure to DM me or even tag me on Instagram or Facebook. I would absolutely love that. All right, everybody. Well, I hope you have a wonderful Friday. Again, there is the 1 hour strategy session. The link is going to be in the bio for those that are on Instagram, and for Facebook, it is going to be down in the comments. All right. Have a wonderful Friday. Take care. Bye-bye.